people, creators of all kinds, young and old, actually. Welcome to The Connecting Point. I am Dr. Marcy Simmons, here at this discussion table where creators meet to connect, inspire, share ideas, share their stories, and transform the world through raw, unedited talk. And today I am most pleased to be joining with none other than the Donovan, which you're going to hear about him in a few moments. This young man, I am just so proud of him. I guess you can see I'm smiling because I am absolutely amazed at what he's been able to do and is doing in our community. And I always love it when young people stretch out and do for others, you know, and I'm gonna stop talking, okay? Donovan, the Donovan is what he calls himself. Can you tell the audience where you're from, a little bit about yourself and your passion?
That's a great question. But before I even get into me at all, Doctor, I have to wholeheartedly thank you. Thank you for, number one, creating such a beautiful space. Like, you have created an area for creatives and artists to come and be themselves and express and inspire. And what a gift that is. Thank you for being that gift. I'm grateful, and as you introduced already, I'm the Donovan, the one and only. I've dedicated my entire life to the art, the craft, and science of music. It's what I've always done. It is what I will always do, and it's my greatest passion in life.
Well, I want to tell, I always like to give a little background of how I connect with the person on this platform. Obviously, there's some type of connection. Well, this young man walked in the door of my classroom last year, and he walked in to teach. What was he going to teach? Well, he walked in to help with the HARP program at my school, which, by the way, is another community project that I'll talk about later, but Arts for the Harps. And he came in as an instructor to help.
Shout out Lyrica.
Yes, Lyrica Holmes. Yes, Deja Holmes. Yeah, they're awesome. Deja actually did one of these platforms, which we'll see later. But I didn't know one thing about the Donovan until later on, how great of a pianist he is, okay? He got on the keys in my classroom, and I was speechless, actually. To see an African-American young man play those keys like he did, oh my gosh. Wait a minute. I'm not going to tell you much. I'll let him show you later on, but he is one of the greatest. I will say that. And so I watched him that semester work with the children. He's a wonderful educator, and he was so patient with all the kids. And I really enjoyed he and Deja coming every week to my room after school to work with children, to the point where I stayed with them, didn't I, Donovan?
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's so important. That was one of my highlights of last year, working with those students, because number one, the youth are extra precious because the world is a revolving cycle. And so what is young will be old, and what is old will be young. And so what that means is one day they're going to be taking care of us. And we need educated, smart, compassionate, patient elders, you know what I mean,
Mm.
and caretakers and human beings. So we have to create those. So, it's so much fun working with the youth and seeing them so invested
Mhm.
into the art. That is that's so overwhelming to experience. And you have some amazing youth. They really wanted it. They
Yeah.
wanted the education. They wanted to do their best, and even when they were hyper and even when they were like, listen, we tired, they rose to the occasion.
Yes.
And that's what it's about, having young melanated people who are disciplined, who are talented, who are eager to learn. Like,
Mhm.
that's so important. And we are all of those things. We just sometimes need the role models and the inspiration to bring
Yeah.
it out of us.
Yes.
Fun.
But I just heard you say something about the young will one day be old, okay? And guess what? I'm glad that you said that, because I've been in conversation with many people just this week about young people and older people, how we need them both. Okay?
Have to have it.
We've got to have them. We cannot ignore each other. We've got to respect what each one of us brings to the table. And yes, the older people might have a little more experience. However, the younger people have the strength. And I've been finding out they have some wisdom too. Just because you're young doesn't mean you're not wise. And just because you're old does not mean you are wise, because I've seen the flip of both. And I really have. I have learned so much from young people, oh my gosh, who've had to speak back into my life and they didn't even know they were doing that. So I want you to talk about, you've talked to me about a project you've been working on, but how have you been able to bring in the young and the old with your art form?
That's so many amazing points. And the fact of the matter is this: wisdom is a special thing, and it takes experience to gain such wisdom. And so our elders are so important because they come with a lifetime of experience
Yes.
that we must respect. And I sometimes feel that we don't do it as much as we should this generation. It is so important to respect your elders. But you also said something that is also very important. Youth, they come with precious gifts within them. They come with special messages and a freshness of a new world. And
Mhm.
so elders should be inspired by that, because it will keep you young.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to piggyback off of what you said. But to answer your question, I feel so blessed as a creative, as a pianist, as a musician, to speak a universal language. So
Yes.
when you ask, how do I keep the young and the wise, together, real art does it. It's not me at all. When I get on the piano, when I play, I disappear. And I like that, because more often than not, people see us as what they want to see as
Mhm.
a being, as a
Mhm.
human,
Mhm.
or as a label, right? But the moment I get to this piano and the moment I start playing, people don't see me anymore. They feel. So
Yeah.
if I just sit
Mm.
and I do, you know, I, like it's so much passion there. People start to lose focus on, oh, it
Mhm.
becomes, oh, what is this? So young and old alike, they're drawn to it. And it's the creativity, it's magic. Music is magic in the
Yeah.
highest form.
Mm.
It's spiritual in the highest transformed. That's why we praise, and that's why we worship, through song,
Yeah.
because it takes you to a different level. So I think the gift is what connects young and old. And through the gift, I've been able to have all kinds of people come into my life. And you know what? Teaching with you and, through the various organizations that I've worked with and even my own, I find I'm learning so much about myself working with the youth. Like, I'm becoming more patient. I'm becoming more gentle. I'm becoming more understanding. And when I'm working, I hate when I hear people say, "Oh, those kids are bad." No, 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 no,
No, I don't tolerate
no, no,
that.
no, 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 no.
God didn't make anything
Yeah,
bad. We make bad decisions.
that's right. It's like the decisions that they are making are decisions that we don't approve of or agree with. But the child themselves, they're quite special. And if you take the time, even with the most hyperactive, we call hyperactive bad. No, I was a hyperactive child, and I got quite often labeled as bad, but it wasn't that at all. I just
No.
needed stimulation. You know what I mean? I needed to find my passion. I needed to find my way. And so, yeah, the
Well,
gift will do it.
Donovan, can you talk a little bit about how you started? Or let's say this, when did you discover your gift for playing, and what age?
That's a great question. And most people are surprised to know that I'm a late bloomer in the grand scheme of things. So piano was actually not my first instrument.
Oh,
Okay, I started as a cellist. I
oh,
started as a cellist, and yeah, I was maybe 7 years old, and I could do it. I learned, but it was like I'm bored. Okay, but I had, I didn't have a choice. I stuck with it, and I switched instruments. I went to viola, all strings, until one day I was 11 years old, and this is late in life, considering what
yeah.
people would try to tell you. But I was 11, and I was doing public speaking. 4-H, shout out to 4-H. That
4-H,
program changed
yeah.
my life. It changed my life in many ways. But I was a great public speaker, and so I was going to a different national competition, and I walked into where we were going to be staying, and I heard what I played for you just a minute ago. It was the first time I had ever heard this song, and I didn't know where it was coming from. I didn't know who it was coming from. I just knew I was in
Beautiful.
love and I needed it. So I literally ran to the sound. And there was a young lady, her name is Simone Ridgway. I love you, Simone. That's one of my dearest. She was at the piano. She was playing Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven. And that moment changed my life forever.
Wow.
I knew that I would never play another instrument, that I wanted the piano. And it triggered or ignited something in me that was never there before. I got a keyboard. It was just another story how I got that. And I practiced hours and hours and hours until I could play that song. And it never left me. Like, to this day, I literally, no judgment zone, but I've never been one to do drugs. I know that can be cool. People on TV do it, whatever. I've never done it because literally I experienced the highest form of euphoria when I'm playing. It's a real thing. Like, I feel out of my mind, like high, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I'm playing. And I always feared that if I did something else, that it
Would
would
mess it up.
take that gift away from me. So I never had the interest because I get high every day, you know, for hours at a time. I don't know what y'all doing, but you know, but that's how I got started.
And you know, it was always there. Yet when you just said something about you didn't know something that you didn't know was there, and there was a scripture that just came to me when you said that. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. Okay, so you were searching for what was already there with the cello and all those, but when you heard the instrument that you were supposed to be connected to, a baby leaped inside of you. I'll because that's the best way for me to describe it.
That's what it was.
When something leaps inside of you, it's special, you know, and it was always there. And it's apparent. I even have watched you play, and your expression, you could tell you've gone somewhere else. It's an out-of-body experience. But, you know, and everybody has that. And that's one thing that God was sharing with me, that everybody has something that brings them out of themselves. That's how special it is. There's a creative part of you that hones into that special gift that you have. And if you don't connect with it, it's almost like you're wandering in this world lost.
I can't even fathom. It would be a nightmare to think about who I would have been or what I would have become without those series of events. I can't imagine my life without this gift. It has allowed me to express myself in a way that I never knew possible. You know, and I'm about to get emotional even thinking about it. Like, in my darkest hours, you know, this has been my catharsis, and it has literally saved me. You know, when I felt I had nothing and no one else, this was my saving grace, you know, the gift. And so I'm so grateful for it. You know, find your passion. And I don't care what people tell you. It's not gonna be lucrative, da da da. You follow your passion.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta work hard though. Work hard and be the best at it, and follow what you love, and you know, your gifts will open doors for you.
And you know what, Donovan, I think I said this to you in a conversation last week or so, something that I didn't understand, why creators, you know, the platform, we have a platform, which Donovan mentioned earlier, for creators. Why creators spectate and do not encourage other creators, or, you know, or either, or share their own area of creativity. And what you said to me was, we're going to always have that. But I do know my passion is connected to people in some type of way, and getting them to realize who they are. Because if you realize who you are and the gifts that you carry, your creative side, you won't have to envy anybody. You'll be happy in what you're doing.
Right.
And you get to live out your purpose with joy. And so if you can, for a moment, speak a little bit about some things you've had to overcome to be able to just want to express it to others, your creative side.
Are you kidding me? I mean, it's too many stories to talk about one. You know, one thing that it's a lot. It's a lot. But, you know, I hate to be somber or bring up really touchy subjects, but I have to talk about the facts. You know, one thing that stood out to me was my undergraduate. Two things. Ooh, look, I got an even better one. The number one thing that I had to get over was myself. When I went to undergraduate, I thought I was the cat's meow. because where I came from, you know, it wasn't a lot of young melanated folk that were playing the piano, you know, or that liked classical music. So I thought I was special, you know, and my ego was so nasty and it was so recognizable that they had to break me down, you know, and not in a negative way, but I never forget when my teacher told me, you know, you are not as good as you think you are. Child, I just knew they didn't know a thing. But after the third time I heard it, I had to stop and I had to say, you know what? You have to change. If you want this, if you want to be the best, if you want to evolve, and if you want to grow, let this ego thing go, because you're gonna get in your way and you're gonna lose out on some big blessings and opportunities. And I let it all go, and it was very hard because that's not something that I was used to. And you know, having that tough love really opened me up and let me be the best that I could be. Now, that was one obstacle. There's a second one that I would like to piggyback on too. You know, I was also one of the only melanated people in my undergraduate.
I hear that a lot with music students.
I was the only African American pianist there, period. And I lacked a lot of the experience that my predominantly Caucasian and Asian counterparts had, because they had been on piano since they were 3, 4. I told you guys I started passionately at 12. You know what I mean? And then even then it took time for me to find a great teacher, and that's a whole nother thing. But I had to work 10 times as hard to play catch up and then to be seen as talented in that genre, you know. So it took so much blood, literally scraping up my fingertips, like peeling the skin off, doing glissandos, you know, technique, 8 hours a day, sleepless nights because I had to do theory homework. And then,
oh gosh, I remember theory.
oh, no, that's,
you know what, Donovan, I love theory. I love theory. I did. I was even a tutor for those who needed it at Morris Brown. I love theory.
I'm a stickler on it now, but you know, the problem was, and this is why I created my organization. We'll talk more about that soon. But the problem was, when you don't have the background that you should, once you get there, it can be very overwhelming when they're talking about secondary dominance and you know, Neapolitan sixes. I'm like, what are they talking about?
Can I just play it right?
And I'm like, I could do that, but what, you know what I mean?
But you got to be able to write that and play that, what you played.
You got to be able to write it, understand it, dictate it, which means to write it out. You have to understand how to break it down, analyze it, you know, and these are things that so often, especially in our melanated community, we don't really get. You know what I mean? So, I've overcome a lot, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're not even talking about family. We're not even talking about the schools, and you know, life is always going to be an obstacle that you have to overcome. The reason I told that first story is because forget about the obstacles. You have to focus on you, because it's your life. You have to take charge. You have to take responsibility and accountability. Only you can do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, it's so amazing that I have, you know, been interviewing many young people about the arts and creativity, and those that go off to PWIs, I'm hearing the same resounding thing.
It's very tough.
It's very prominent. And so those students had to work a lot harder. And my son also is at a PWI, and I heard the same thing from him. So with that being said, I want to just right now encourage young people who are at the college level, and you're feeling this way. You have to still do what you have to do and persevere and work hard. Well, anything worth having, guess what? You got to work at it.
And you don't let anybody
have to work. Yes, Donovan?
You don't let anybody put you on the back burner. You know, that's one thing that I noticed at a PWI. For those who don't know, that means predominantly white institution. But I was overlooked in the beginning for all opportunities. They weren't given to me. They were given to, you know, my counterparts. And I wasn't going to stand for it. But I also knew that I had a lot of work to do, because it wasn't just about complaining. It was about letting it be a resounding understanding that I deserve the opportunity, because it don't get no better. You understand? Like, that's how much work you have to put in. So where it's like, it happens in theater. All the time.
Yes.
You be the best. You make them recognize the talent. You put in twice the work. We have to. It's not fair, but life's not fair. Put in the work.
But you know, also I want to speak to the HBCUs, because I went to one of those, and there's still some competitive things there that can make you feel pretty much the same. You're expected to do things at a certain level at an HBCU. So I just want to encourage anybody that's in college, do you, but do it with excellence.
That's right.
And make sure that you can back up your word. I mean, whatever you do, back it up. Don't say, you know, I'm just as good, but then you don't put in the labor that it takes to be the best. Wow. Now, Donovan, I know that you have embarked upon something so great. I'm excited about it myself. You have started something to better our community, to grow us as creators, and even just to, you know, be therapeutic for some. You have begun a program, a nonprofit organization. Can you tell us the name of it and a little bit about it?
Yay. Okay. So I have founded a nonprofit organization called the Donovans Venom. Okay. I'm the Donovan, right? And as we discussed before, you know, I was a troubled child, right? So we all have venom, right? People are always like, why venom? It's such a negative name. We've all got venom. We've got to embrace it. What is it though? What is your venom? So the Donovan's Venom is music, love, and light. So that's what I spread. That's what I've created. I've created this organization, the Donovans Venom. It's a 501c3, and we are dedicated to bringing music, art, and entertainment to those who need it the most. So we do so many things: toy drives. We do live musical events. We're doing a holiday spectacular. But the most important initiative that we're starting, which starts August 31st, so we're giving completely free FREE music education to youth 18 and under and seniors 60 and beyond. So this is my way of giving back to the community.
I love it. And especially when you said seniors, I said, oh gosh, I have a 95-year-old grandmother who would benefit from some type of music lesson, especially during this pandemic time. Everybody's inside and it can get a little redundant. That would be something grand, where grandparents and grandchildren could do together. And so I thought that was just a wonderful feature within the nonprofit organization. Now, can you talk a little bit about how somebody could get involved? Matter of fact, let's talk about, do you have any opportunities for volunteering, young people volunteering to help you with the program? Okay, you're back here. Good, good, good.
I don't know what happened.
I don't either, but we're just gonna keep moving. I told you this is raw and unedited, so hey.
Hey guys, I'm back. I'm so sorry.
But you're about to explain, were there any opportunities for young people to come and volunteer and do some work with you?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. So, okay, here's the thing. Our website is www.thedonovan.org. I love the Donovan, the Donovan, the THEDONOVAN, thedonovan.org. And there's so many opportunities. Everybody can't donate. If you can, please do. But if you cannot, that is fine. Come volunteer. If you're a college student and you're a performance major, come teach some classes with us.
Mm-hmm.
Help us out. You know what I mean? Spread the word. We are doing a lot of marketing. If you're a computer tech, if you do Google Analytics, please help us. If you do sound, audio engineering, come. We have projects that we are working on. If you are a designer, set, decorator, come. Everybody is not a talent in the form of being front and center.
Right, right.
That's not everybody's thing. And that's actually important to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody
it is.
doesn't, shouldn't be in front of the camera because you're better in other areas. Use your passions no matter what they are. You might can build us the perfect set. You might can build or set up all of our technology so that I don't get cut off in the middle of an interview. You know what I mean?
Right?
There's so many uses. I don't care what you are. Come and help us.
Mm-hmm.
A fun fact is one of the initiatives that we're doing this holiday spectacular, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be December 4th, and it's just going to be a cumulative celebration of all the holidays, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. There'll be all genres of music. There'll be classical music, harp. There'll be just so much fun and versatility. So a group of young high school students came up to me and they were like, we love the organization. We just saw the website, but we have no musical talent. Okay, what do you do?
Right.
I like writing. I like writing. You know what they did? They got together, and the reason I brought the show up is
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to be hosted by puppets. So I was like, maybe it's going to be so good. So I'm like, you guys can create our holiday spectacular script. In less than 3 days, Doctor, the most funny, hilarious, heartwarming, entertaining script. I
love it.
I mean, it took those other creatives to come together
Mm-hmm.
and make that magic.
The connecting point. Woo, 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 woo. It took a connecting point.
It was the connecting point. It was a connecting point.
Yes.
And they are elevating everything now because of their gift. You bring your gift to the table and you elevate what we're doing. This is everybody's baby. We're all taking care of it, and it takes a village. So that's another reason why I'm doing this, because coming up, and I'm from a very diverse place. I'm from New York City, but if I'm very, very honest, I didn't know anything about Kwanzaa, and I'm African American. That's an African American holiday, but that's the truth. I didn't know. I didn't know anything about Kwanzaa. Didn't know anything about the Chinese New Year. Now I could say, oh, I've heard of it. Sure, I know. But the fact is, I didn't. I knew the names, but I never watched it. I celebrated Christmas. So, and all the television shows were dedicated
To
to
Christmas.
Christmas. So cool. But now I'm realizing we can all celebrate. But why are we celebrating together?
Together.
Why does that not exist? So you be the change you wish to see. Okay, be the change. So I'm being the change. So bring your holiday greatness to what we do. We have about 12 volunteers who are at UCLA because all of our volunteering is virtual, by the way. You could help us no matter where you are. These are Chinese American students. They're all first generation American. So they're from China. So I'm like, Chinese New Year, teach us all about it. They taught us everything that they could. So when we do celebrate the Chinese New Year, the lunar moon, it's going to be so authentic. You're going to learn so much and it's going to be fun, and it's a celebration. That's what art is about, the universal language.
I love it. Now,
It's going to be nice.
Donovan, just so we can let the people know this is not, just a fly-by-night idea. You are actually a creator. Can you play us something?
I'm in front of my keyboard, right? I'm gonna do a little something, y'all, but this is for fun.
Yes,
Okay.
of course. Hey, look,
this is for fun.
This is fun stuff. Now, come on. We have young people watching this platform here.
What should I play?
Let me see. Who do they know? Do you know her or Alicia Keys? I know you know Alicia Keys. Let's see.
Okay. I love me some. Hold on. I know a few Alicia songs, but they gotta be warmed up for that. The most popular is. Is the most popular.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
Yes.
Just a little bit. I'm not even focused right now. I forgot where I am. I'm like, yeah, that's what you said. We got to perform together the next time.
Yes, excellent. Now,
we're going to have to perform together sometime.
Of course, I will. Listen, can you give your contact information again? Now, Donovan's, the Donovan information will be on Integrative Arts Creations website soon. But until then, Donovan, if you will give the information for how to contact you.
Absolutely. So my information is obviously thedonovan.org. You can find everything you need to know on that website. But also, I am the Donovan. You can find me at all my social media, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. I am the Donovan. Or at thedonovan.org will take you to everything about the Donovans Venom, our telephone number, our email address. Email us, Instagram, Twitter me. Just add me on all of your platforms.
And most importantly, let's support each other, okay?
Yeah.
You're a young person, you want to have some lessons, contact the Donovan and the Donovans Venom. And if you would like to be on this type of platform, please reach out to me at integrativeartscreations.com, or you may email me at integrativearts@att.net. That's INTEGRATIVE@att.net. And if you're on Instagram, it is Integrative Arts. If you're on Twitter, it's Arts Integration. So that is what we do. We connect things and we help each other. The Donovan, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am most proud of you.
I
You
love
already
you.
know that.
I'm so grateful, and I'm just gonna play a little longer, and then you can just disconnect whenever you're ready. Oh, it's too low. Let me turn.
He's gonna play a little longer. We'll let it play a little bit, and then we will see you on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Instagram TV for our next Connecting Point discussion table. Have a beautiful week.